The first day feels clean. The third day feels heavy. A blank notebook waits on the shelf. Why does your life keep resetting? You are not confused because you started again. You are tired because starting again keeps feeling like returning to zero. This is not weak will. Progress needs somewhere to stay. The reset looks clean from the outside. Inside, it already feels familiar. You notice the pale adhesive square on the entry wall as you look for a better place to begin. There used to be a hook there. Before that, another one. Each mark is small, but together they look like evidence. The hard part is not that you wanted change. It is that change kept landing on surfaces that could not hold it. You can almost remember the confidence of each version. Near the door, an elastic band wraps around running shoes that were supposed to make mornings easier. The shoes are not the problem. The plan was not fake. The first walk happened. The second almost happened. Then the band stayed tight, and the floor became a quiet record of a routine with no place to continue. Nothing is wrong with wanting a simple start. The trouble begins when the start has no second step waiting. You open a drawer and see the plastic divider line sitting slightly crooked. It was bought during another restart. It promised order without asking much. But here's the strange part. The new thing often works for one day. Then life returns to its old shape around it. How can something feel useful and still disappear so quickly? You notice the bright feeling first, not the old shape. In the hallway, a white magnet slides down a blank board by a finger width. That is the early clue. A reset clears the surface. It does not always build support. Empty space looks calm until it must carry a second week. You unroll the folded gym mat beside the bed and feel the edge curl back under your palm. On Monday, it made the room feel ready. By Thursday, it became one more object asking for proof. You step around it once, then twice. By the weekend, the mat is not a promise anymore. It is a soft obstacle in the path you already use. You still care. That is why the object starts to feel accusing instead of neutral. A small tray of coins sits by the door, meant to catch loose change before it spreads. For a few days it works, then keys land there, then batteries, then a torn wrapper. This is how many resets collapse. They are given one job but no border. Progress needs somewhere to stay, and it also needs something to keep everything else out. Without that border, the new habit becomes another container for overflow. Inside the closet, 2 storage bins sit with nothing between them. One is full of old attempts. One is waiting for the next one. And this is where it changes. The problem is not always quitting. Sometimes the problem is that every new beginning gets stored in the same crowded place as every abandoned one. The next beginning has to fight the old pile before it even starts. At the library table, you place 3 books in a neat stack and decide this will be the week you rebuild your attention. The afternoon light falls across the book cart as you copy the first few pages into your mind. It feels serious. Then you leave with no next step. The stack was clear. The return path was not. You did not leave because the books were useless. You left because the place did not tell you how to return. You carry the books home, but the next page has no place in the day. On the entryway mat, one shoe points forward and the other turns sideways. That small angle says more than the plan did. You were not trying to fail. You were trying to move inside a life that still had the same mornings, the same rush, the same tired hour, and the same place where everything waits until later. The reset asked you to become new while everything around you stayed arranged for the old pattern. You catch the clean reflection of a bathroom shelf where one new bottle stands alone. It looked like a better version of you when you brought it home. Now it looks slightly too important. A new object can create a mood. It cannot create a base. That difference is easy to miss. It gives you the feeling of arrival before anything has learned to stay. A blank corkboard leans against the wall in a shared study room, while 2 other people arrange their things nearby. You feel a small hope watching them move with simple order. Why do they seem held by their routines? The answer may be quieter than discipline. Their systems do not rely on being inspired every morning. You are not seeing stronger people. You are seeing fewer decisions left exposed. On a garage shelf, A row of empty peg holes waits above one loose tool. This is the part nobody sees. A life does not change only because you add a better object. It changes when the object has a landing place, a return path, and a low-friction way to be used again tomorrow. The return path is the part that keeps effort from becoming a memory. The harder part comes later. You hold a small wall hook against the same pale spot near the door. 3 old marks surround it. Your hand pauses. The feeling is not dramatic. It is a quiet embarrassment. You realize you are not choosing a hook. You are standing in front of every version of yourself that tried to make change stick. The hook feels too light for the amount of history around it. At the grocery aisle, the reusable bag hangs from your wrist while you compare 2 ordinary choices. This time, the reset is not about a grand life. It is about dinner, budget, and the tired walk home. You choose the simpler option. Then you notice the problem again. A good choice has nowhere to go if tomorrow starts from scratch. The choice was fine. The missing part is the place for it to matter again. So the reset becomes a feeling instead of a structure. A concrete line in the parking garage sits under your shoes as you wait before going upstairs. What would change if the goal were smaller, but the place for it were stronger? Not a bigger promise, not a cleaner identity, just one repeatable place where the next small action does not have to be reinvented. This is not a solution scene. It is a smaller question with more grip. The tablet on the low shelf has gone dark after showing the Habit app for a week. You do not need another app to shame you. You need fewer things that depend on your best mood. The screen did not betray you. It simply could not hold your life when the rest of the room stayed the same. A tool can remind you, but it cannot rearrange the conditions that keep swallowing the reminder. On the stair landing, your hand rests on the cool metal rail after a long day. You had planned to become someone different by now. Instead, you are carrying groceries, shoes, and one unfinished intention. The recognition hurts because it is specific. You did not lose the dream in one big failure. You lost it in many small handoffs. Each handoff felt too small to count. Together, they move the whole life back to the start. A balcony planter shows one dry soil line around the edge, where water reached once and stopped. That image is not about plants. It is about follow-through that depends on remembering at the perfect time. A structure does not make you care more. It makes care easier to repeat when your attention is elsewhere. It catches care before care has to become motivation again. You press down the lid of a clear storage tub, and it closes over mixed things that do not belong together. And that is the quieter problem. Many people do not lack ambition. Their life has no sorting system for effort. Everything goes into one tub. Then every restart has to dig through the same pile. Then the pile starts looking like personality. In a training room after class, a dry eraser rests beside a board with no writing left on it. The room looks reset but not prepared. That difference matters. Resetting removes yesterday. Preparing gives tomorrow a shape. You feel the difference in your body when the next action is already waiting, small and visible. Prepared does not mean perfect. It means the first move is not hidden. You loop the exercise band over a wall peg and let it hang there without making a speech to yourself. Why does this feel less exciting than a new plan? Because it is not trying to become your new identity. It is only making the next repeat easier. Sometimes that is the whole shift. It feels almost disappointing. That is why it might last. The toolbox latch clicks under your thumb as you close it and leave one tool outside on purpose. This is not mess. It is a path. The next time, you will not start from nothing. You will start from a visible invitation. Progress leaks slows when one small action leaves evidence for the next one. The evidence does not need to be impressive. It only needs to survive until you come back. Back at the entry wall, the new hook finally holds one light bag. The old marks are still there. They do not disappear. They stop being proof that you failed. They become proof that you were trying to build without a place for the effort to live. The room does not transform. It just stops erasing the first step. For once, the attempt does not have to explain itself. Last thing you notice is not the hook. It is the empty space around it. There is room for the next repeat now. You were not failing to begin. You were missing a place where beginning could remain.